Hello ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Jim Makes a Cartoon. I'm Jim and I'm making a cartoon. Today I'm working on the character model for Wilhelm. That's the little cat toy / lieutenant of Supreme Leader Strudel from Dictator Cat. There were actually about a dozen different designs before I settled on this one, though there was one other that I actually did create a model for at Anime Studio and then decided I was not happy with. If you want, I can show you what he looked like. In fact, I actually recorded the entire creation process for the original Wilhelm. So if you want to see that along with another commentary, let me know in the comments section. This design is actually based on a toy that our cat Maddie used to have. It was basically a furry, khaki-colored mouse like this one. I thought it would be a good idea to show kind of how ferocious Strudel can be by having one of its eyes ripped off and not including a tail, with the implication that that had been ripped off as well. Because if you do own any pets, you know they tend to destroy their toys, and honestly that's what they're for. I actually went through a few different voices before I ended up deciding on the one I went with. Originally it was going to be kind of a really bad Alan Rickman impression, but I discovered I really couldn't say his lines in the cadence I wanted them to be in while doing that. It would have required a lot more practice than I would have had in the time frame I'd set for myself. Then I tried to do kind of, another really awful impression of another celebrity, this time Boris Karloff, which is, you can see how bad that impression is. But in the end, it didn't matter if it was a good or a bad impression, and I ended up kind of blending a little bit of that with the raspier voice that Wilhelm ended up going with, the you have my word, Supreme Leader kind of thing, and I feel like it went pretty well. I needed it to be distinctive from Strudel's voice but still within my vocal range. Since my production schedule is so compact, I don't like to inconvenience other people by asking them to do voices for me. Although one time a little while ago I did get lucky and was able to get somebody to do a voice for me in the old cartoon Cultured Crop Circles. In that one I had my former coworker and friend Nick do the voice of Florgan Floop the alien for me, and I still really appreciate that. Alright, in other news, I think I'm a little bit late to the table on this discussion, but there's been a lot of talk about how YouTube enforces its policies for copyright holders. Basically, the controversy is that lately YouTube seems to have updated its algorithm or the way it enforces its policies, and several channels that are well within fair use for their content are getting flagged for copyright violations, and in some cases having their monetization turned off or their entire channels taken down. Some of the big names are That Guy with the Glasses or I Hate Everything. Some of the names you might recognize if you watch a lot of online video that are involved in this are That Guy with the Glasses and I Hate Everything, just to name a couple of them. One of the big problems people have with YouTube is that its policy seems to be one of you are guilty until proven innocent. Now, I don't agree with that stance, but to be fair, there are a lot of companies who take that stance. I mean, if you've ever tried to dispute a credit card charge or a problem with your cable company, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This kind of practice is all over the place. But I think part of the issue has to do with customer service, in that there is nobody you can talk to at Google or YouTube about these problems if you have one. Literally everything is automated. So if you upload a video and someone posts a copyright claim against it, you can dispute it if you want, but it goes into an automated system. There is not a human being who actually gets in touch with you about this. I'll give you an example. A video I posted a while back, it was part of the old Ordinary Jim blog series. One of the episodes about my experience with long-term unemployment got its monetization turned off because somebody else, I don't remember who it was, claimed the music that I had in the background. Now, this music was actually a loop from GarageBand. If you're not familiar, GarageBand is a program used to make music on Mac computers, and there are tracks of looping music that you can put together if you're like me and not musically inclined at all. Now, Apple states on their website that anybody who uses their loops can use them for any project without having to pay a royalty, just as long as you do not try to resell the loop loops themselves. So this leaves them one of three possibilities. Either somebody had that loop in their video and the automated content ID system picked it up as if they owned that video. Somebody else had a very similar track in their video, and once again the automated content ID system got a little confused and flagged it. Or the third option is that somebody was fraudulently claiming to own the loop. Now, I'm not going to speculate on what actually did happen in this case, so I of course disputed the claim under the precedent that I had a license to use it, just as anybody who uses GarageBand does, and I copied and pasted the license agreement from the Apple website, and it was literally stuck in limbo for years. Like, if you're one of the YouTube users who has 1 million hits every video, like one of the big bloggers out there, you can probably get this resolved in a couple of days. But if you are anybody else, it literally can take years to get monetization turned back on. Now, that's not necessarily a huge deal for me because I don't make any money off of this, but what if something happened? What if for some reason that particular video did go viral? I would have lost out on a lot of potential income from it. And that's the thing that I think is creating so many problems with YouTube creators. Google owns YouTube, and if you ever watch what kind of things Google puts together, their company philosophy seems to be that automation is better than human interaction. In some cases it is, but there are still a lot of situations where you need the human ability to reason, and automated systems like Content ID and YouTube's copyright claim system don't always work because of the lack of that human element. And since Google pretty much has a monopoly on online video, there's not a whole lot anybody can do about it. Now, don't get me wrong, I like YouTube. I like all the tools they put at our disposal, but I actually really hope that another competitor comes up and kinda forces YouTube to shape up a little bit, because believe me, there are a lot of creators who are just going to leave if anybody can make a viable alternative. I mean, yeah, there's Vimeo and Dailymotion, but they're small potatoes compared to YouTube. But anyway, enough with slightly depressing YouTube controversy. There's another piece of really big news that actually specifically affects animators. It was recently announced that the software Toonz, which is used by Studio Ghibli and the people behind Futurama, is about to be released for free and as an open source program for anybody to download. Now, as most of you know, I use Anime Studio, but the idea of a totally free, fully functional animation software is huge and could really change the industry. In fact, it could really turn things in favor of the independent animators. Anime Studio is a great program, but it's not as fully featured as what a lot of the major studios use. And for that reason, it's pretty cheap. That's why I'm able to use it. The full feature stuff, like say Toon Boom Harmony, costs a few $1,000s. Or if you want to use something like RenderMan, which was what Pixar uses, you're gonna pay a licensing fee every single time you put out a video that uses their software. So the fact that a piece of animation software that's used in the industry fairly regularly is about to be released to the public for free is really exciting, and I know I'm gonna download it. I mean, it's got really great support for frame-by-frame animation like Toon Boom, as well as tools that are very similar to the skeletons used by Anime Studio. So let me know what you think about the different topics we've gone over today. What do you think about all this controversy surrounding YouTube's terms of service and copyright enforcement? What do you think about Toonz being released for free? Let me know in the comments section. Please remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and as always, do like your mom told you and share. I'll see all of you amazing people next week.